Hey everyone, it's Krishanti with Krishanti.com. I talk all about intuitive development, psychic development, and spiritual and personal growth. So if you like this info, please hit the like button and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. And today I'm going to talk about a book that I just finished reading in a program that I'm working, which is right here, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. And it's really funny because this book came out a while ago. Actually, I got this copy over a year ago, like a year and a half ago, and it sat there. I opened it and I just didn't have the time to read it. And then I saw the CD set at the library, which, yeah, I'm old school and I still do that. And so I listened to it on CD and finished it. And the reason why I want to talk about it is Marie Kondo, the author, is really onto something, like spiritually speaking, with this whole practice, which we all know about. Like, it's just common sense, like, your reality, the physical things around you kind of reflect on your life in general. But she takes it to this level that is so intense, that it's actually creating a little bit of anxiety in me as I try to work the program. I was going to call this video like the life-changing magic of, oh fuck, I don't think I can do this, because that's exactly how it feels like to me. And I'm a pretty tidy person, so if you're a really like messy person, I can't even imagine how stressful it must be to try to really work the program the way that she'd like you to work it. But I talked to my two best friends and they had both read the book and they have their ideas about it all. So I wanted to just chat about it. One thing that she consistently talks about, of course, her whole thing is like this sparking joy and having objects around you that spark joy. But she talks about items as if they have a personality. She sort of, now forgive me for, I'm probably not going to say this word right, but it's like anthropomorphizing them, which is like imagining that you're putting a human quality onto an object, which I was really good at as a kid. I did that with all of my stuffed animals. I still remember my old raccoon, May, who was like a potbelly raccoon, and I felt like she had a personality. I still think of her as a person. But from the spiritual and psychic and intuitive perspective, the whole process is an intuitive process. And from this whole perspective, it really reminded me of psychometry, which is the art of reading the energy of objects. And when I used to have my psychic development workshops in person, psychometry was something that we all did, because everybody can hold an object and sense and read the energy attached to it. And so hearing Marie talk about that, and then for me taking a look at everything around me in our home, brought everything to like this whole new level. And yes, objects carry energy, so they're not just things, they're things sitting there, which she talks about, which is funny. She's a little bit wacky, and that's why I like her even more. That they have like personalities and that they have feelings. So she talks about like associating with things and saying, thank you for working for me, and thank you for doing everything that you do. Thanks for being in my life. And then looking at every single thing that you have, every possession that you own, and like kind of having a dialogue with it. And then from that point of view, that very emotional connection, deciding whether or not that object is ready to move on or can remain in your life. And so I can tell right away by doing some of this stuff that things are shifting in my life and in my psyche. Last weekend, we went into this big closet in Ivan's room that kind of became like the catch-all place. So we put like his baby car seat, and then I dumped all my fabric stuff in there, and then some chairs, and like anything you could stuff in there, we stuffed in that closet. And we cleared it all out. And also in that closet, I'm kind of fidgeting with things because this is kind of a personal thing. I can tell I'm nervous about talking about it. But in that closet was a big tub that had all the notes that I had had since grade school. I was like in the gifted program and all that. And I loved to chat. It was very social as a child. And I was the one on my report card. I always got I just remembered I threw away all my report cards, and that really bums me out. I always got I always got good grades, but I would get an S, which meant satisfactory, in the department of like how you behaved in the classroom. And because I was taught, and they would always say like, well, she's talking to the other children and like not letting them learn. And I would often have to go outside because I was talking too much, and I passed notes constantly. And I saved all these notes, and I thought, wouldn't it be funny one day to look back at them? And my best friend from high school did the same thing. So I'm glad I'm not alone in this. But all those notes and all that stuff, like, my mom died, and my Nana who lived with us, she died too. And there's no one who knows me now who remembers me and can talk about me as a kid, having lived with me on the day-to-day basis. And yes, I'm a grown-up, but I haven't had that in years and years and years. So having all these notes kind of like helped me. It like made me feel like I existed. And and as like my mom died, and my aunt gave me, one of my aunts gave me her report card from college, and I thought that was so neat. I was surprised because she got a lot of bad grades. I think that was first semester, and I got bad grades too, but that was funny. But so I felt like that was just this heritage thing, and there was this to pass on, and then there's this thing about me, and it made me cry. I was angry that night. I cried in yoga class a little bit. I wasn't like sobbing. It was like, okay, don't cry in yoga class. And it was interesting, that kind of response. And even now I was telling you about the report card. I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't have my report cards anymore, which would have been funny to show. But then again, someone's going to, they're going to like look at that. I think that's funny. And then it's not like, what's the point of holding on to it? So that was my experience. That was like the biggest, deepest thing I wanted to share with you. And another thing that was actually fun was going through the jewelry thing, which I always try to do, but I didn't do it. And I'm trying to be good at purging. Anyway, whatever. I am nowhere near as good as Marie Kondo. I think about like if she were in my place right now looking around, like all the things she would see and everything she would say, and I'm like, I'm such a failure compared to her level of perfection and tidiness. But anyway, with the jewelry stuff, I have a lot of stuff that people gave me that I don't like. But I keep it. It's just like, well, they gave it to me. And I had this jewelry box someone gave me that I don't really love anymore either, that had all my bracelets, but I couldn't see them because they're in that box. And I had a thing about bracelets, which I realized, okay, so I'm rambling on about myself, but if you do this process, maybe you'll have some aha moments too. And that's why I feel like it's important to talk about it. So I kept all the bracelets in there, and I don't wear bracelets. And I had this, I'm like, well, maybe I just don't like bracelets because I've been like shackled in a past life or something. But the truth of it, when I look back, is I don't love bracelets because when I would go work in an office, I would sit at a desk at a computer, which I hated, all day staring at the computer. And like, so sitting there with like bracelets on, they would like clank at the desk, and that sucks. So I'm like, oh, forget it. And then I put all the bracelets in this box and forget it, So I went through all that, and I took them out, and like, okay, this box doesn't work. I don't even want it. I'm going to give it to the Goodwill. And then I went through like the bracelet thing, and then I found this little giraffe right here that Ivan doesn't play with. It was just sitting there in his room. He doesn't care. I mean, he's 5. He's into Legos and not like little whimsical giraffes. And so I put my bracelets on that, and I thought it was cute. Now I can see them, and now I can like take out this rosary bracelet that I got in Spain, I think, when I went, and I can wear it. So that shifted too. And I'm still doing it. It's a process. One of my best friends who did the program said it took her a lot longer than she thought, and she remembers a part that I didn't remember, but she said Marie Kondo said it takes, the whole thing takes like 6 months or something. And I can see that now because she wants you to do it all at once. Like if you were to do her program her way, like every single book in this bookcase, I would have to take out and put on the floor. And then if she were here, she would jump up and down and be so happy and excited because the books could talk and tell us if they wanted to stay here or not. So I haven't gotten to that yet. But it really does make you think about things at a deeper level. We can all talk about clearing. I do this program called Soul Coaching by Denise Lynn, who I love, and the book is amazing. And I've done the program. You do it whenever you're anticipating a big life change. It shifts things up, and she has a whole week in this 4-week program where you get rid of things. So I've done that, and I'm sure you have too. Done a major purge and a major clearing. We do that often, but at this intense level, it really helps you. And she talks about the magical things that happen to people, but it helps you shift your ideas of who you are, and all of this. There's something deeper happening here, and I'm still working it. I'm nowhere near at that precise level of perfection that I would like to be at, but it's shifting things. So if you're interested, I would recommend checking it out and really trying to adhere to it and do it as best you can. Like, as far as her whole thing is like, because my husband starts doing it, and he's like, like, you're kind of doing it wrong, because he's like reminding me, you're supposed to like clear the decks and do nothing but tidy for like 3 days. But I have a business, I have a 5-year-old, I have a husband, like I'm busy and I just didn't. So I'm doing it my half-assed Krishanti way, and it's still working. So that's that. And if you have things you'd like me to talk about or cover, please put it in the comments below, because I'm always looking for things that people want me to talk about pertaining to spirituality and psychic development and all of it. There's so much in this whole realm of metaphysical stuff. You could also email me at ask@krishanti.com. And again, if you like this, please hit like and subscribe. And I think that's it for now. I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.